Welcome back to Lexington Green. Here we are on April 19th, Patriots Day, and I'm here with Commander Gillie. Commander Gillie, what brings you here to Lexington Green on this day of all days?
Well, I'm so pleased and honored to be here. Let me tell you, I'm here to renew my oath to the Constitution of the United States. As you are probably aware, every legislative, judicial, and executive officer in the United States, and every executive, judicial, and executive officer in every state holds his office on a condition of an oath to the Constitution of the United States. That is set forth in Article 6 of our Constitution. That is our safety in time of crisis. Every other country in the world that you read about, I think we're the only one like that. You remember Brutus and the conspirators? They had to violate the law by assassinating Caesar to save the law. You remember Hitler? You had several people who had to violate the law to save the law. If you remember the English Civil War, the Roundheads had to violate the law to save the law. What kind of a situation is that? What kind of chaos does that bring on? It brings civil war, doesn't it? But in our country, it is never either necessary or excusable for anybody who's holding an office, legislative, judicial, or executive, to violate the law to save the law, because we all serve under condition of an oath to the Constitution. Blessedly in our country, because all of our national executive power is lodged in one man, the President of the United States, and because I hold my office by his commission, and because my superiors hold their office by his commission, and because all the orders come down through him, if any of those issues an unlawful order, thankfully we're all bound to a superior power, aren't we? The people of the United States, through their Constitution, by the oath on condition of which we hold our office. Thankfully, we can just say, I'm sorry, sir, I have no power to do this. You don't have the power to do it, to make me do it, and you don't have the power to let me do it, because we're both serving under the same oath to the Constitution of the United States. Now, if your superior persists in lawlessness, either because he's stupid or because he's stubborn, you just say, sir, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to resign. And isn't that a wonderful thing? That is, if you read history, you can't appreciate.
Exactly.
If you do read history, you cannot not appreciate how wonderful that is in any time of crisis. Now, it's interesting, in 1798, this whole country was in crisis because we were in the quasi-war with France, remember? And President Adams had just divulged the diplomatic correspondence that showed how false the French were. And we sent an emissary and they wouldn't even receive him. And they finally said, you know what, if you give us a bribe, we'll see you. So President Adams revealed all those papers, didn't he? And the country was scared. Some people said, oh, well, we've got to go to war with him. Others said, no, let's just wait. The country was in crisis. But at that time, on this very green, some of the men who had fought at Lexington in 1775, all of the brigades who had fought here gathered on Lexington Green as part of their regular musters for their militia duty.
Because militias would be regulated. They'd practice.
Right. Well, they practice all up and down the coast, but it's interesting. I don't know who started this idea then, whether it was spontaneous. All up and down the coast, militia groups, as part of their regular muster on their town square or on Lexington Green, they gathered, and all their officers, after the muster and inspection, all the officers renewed their oaths to the Constitution of the United States publicly.
Most excellent.
And then they adopted resolutions to the president. This was a custom that goes back several hundreds of years, that in public occasions, public officers and citizens would address the executive, whether that was the king, the mayor, the governor, in this case, the president. And they would send patriotic addresses, right? So this is what they did in this time of crisis in 1798, including the 1st Brigade, 3rd Division Militia of Massachusetts, and other brigades who had fought here. They gathered here, they mustered, they showed they were ready. When they were through, they swore their oaths to the Constitution again, right? And then they sent this address to the president saying, we're here, we're faithful, we've sworn our oaths to the Constitution, we'll get through this, because we have a Constitution, that we have a government of laws. Right. Well, today, from what I understand, they're going to have us read John Adams' response to one of those patriotic addresses from the rostrum. In fact, they've asked me to read it. I hope they let me read it.
You are honored.
So anyway, I am pleased to be here to stand where much better men than I am stood a long time ago in a time of crisis, just like our time of crisis we're having now. And they renewed their oaths to the Constitution, and they understood that that's our safety. That's how we escape civil war, disaster, all these kind of terrible things that might happen to us in time of crisis if we're all of us public servants, legislators, judges, military members, presidents, if we're all faithful to our oaths, we have safety. Anyway, I'm sorry that's so long, but that's why I'm here. I'm really pleased to take that oath on this ground were those better men than I am did the
I was going to
same.
say, you realize this is hallowed ground. This
That's
is,
why
you know,
I came. By the way, I came up from Maryland. I drove all the way up here, and my brother came all the way up from Alabama. There are people from California, Alaska, state legislators. People have come a long way because they know this is important, and they want to do it here, you know, because prices were paid here.
exactly.
People paid prices here.
This is the ultimate cost of freedom, is
Well, you know
blood.
what? I'm the first American in my family. That's maybe why I'm so enthusiastic about it. I am so grateful to be an American. I can't tell you what it means to wear this uniform. It's a precious opportunity. If you read history, there's no other civic order like ours in recorded history. I say recorded history
It's
because
a jewel.
there's
It's a
probably
gem.
there's probably lost history that we don't know. But of the history that we know, there's nothing like America.
Exactly.
There's nothing like our constitutional order. There's nothing like it. Canada's, I'm sorry, I don't want to say anything bad about Canada.
I'm with you.
Canada has nothing like ours. England has nothing like ours. We have an amazing civic order, and it's all founded in the Declaration and the Constitution. And it's riveted by our oaths to the Constitution. That's what keeps me from being a tyrant.
Well, exactly.
That's what keeps me from gunning you down in the streets.
Right.
From imposing martial law or any other such nonsense. I'm bound by an oath. I got to do what the law says. I can't do whatever I want to do. And
like
my boss can't tell me to do whatever he wants me to do because he's bound by the same oath. So it's a priceless blessing. You can't put a price on it. Anyway, glad to be here.
Are we truly blessed in this country to have
We
you?
are so blessed. No, we are so
Thank you,
blessed.
sir.